The next topic, inverse trigonometric functions. Inverse trigonometric functions. You know, we have 6 trigonometric functions. What are they? Sin x, cos x, tan x, cot x, secant x and cosecant x. Now these 6 functions are called trigonometric functions. Now we are going to find inverse of these functions. For that, let us define the inverse of a function. First of all, what is the inverse of a function? Earlier we learned the inverse of a function. Now once again we recap the definition. Suppose if f is a function defined from x to y is 1 1 and onto, that means bisection or bijective function, then there exists a function g from y to x such that g circle f is equal to ix and f circle g is equal to iy, where ix is identity function defined from x to x, iy is identity function from y to y. Then the inverse of f is g and it is denoted as g is equal to f inverse. So this is the definition to a inverse of a function. F maps x to y is 1 1 and onto function, bijective function. Then there exists a function g maps from y to x such that g circle f is identity function, f circle g is also identity function defined from y to y. Then the inverse of f is defined as z, which is denoted by g is equal to f inverse. Okay. Now this is the basic definition to inverse of a function. Now let us see how the inverse functions define to trigonometric functions. Suppose if I take a sine function, sine maps r2 minus 1 to 1. You know, f maps x to y. Sine maps set of real numbers to minus 1 to 1. Here the domain is r and range is minus 1 to 1. Is a function, is a sine function, is a sine function. Now can we define inverse to this? See, a function has inverse when it is 1 1 and onto. If the function is bisection, then only we can define inverse to it. But here sine is not a 1 1 function under the domain R. Why? Because if we take any two elements in that set R, sin x1 is equal to sin x2, then x1 need not equal to x2, need not be equal. When sin x1 is equal to sin x2, then x1 may not be equal to x2. A simple example is sin 30 degrees is equal to, sin 30 degrees means sin pi by 6 when it is taken in terms of radians. Pi by 6 is equal to 1 by 2, which is also equals to sin 5 pi by 6. Sin pi by 6 is 1 by 2, sin pi minus pi by 6, that is also 1 by 2. Therefore, here sin x1 is equal to sin x2 implies pi by 6 is equal to 5 pi by 6, which is wrong. So, whenever f of x1 is equal to f of x2, x1 is equal to x2, then the function f is said to be 1, 1. Here that kind of definition is failed. So that the sine function is not 1, 1 and hence it is not a bisection. But we can make it into 1, 1 function if we restrict the domain. When the domain is restricted to minus pi by 2, pi by 2. When it is restricted to interval minus pi by 2, pi by 2. Now see here, sine function minus pi by 2, pi by 2 to minus 1 to 1. Now in that interval, sine function defined from minus pi by 2, pi by 2 to minus 1 to 1. Now here in this domain, sine is clearly 1, 1 and not only 1, 1 and also on 2, because range is equal to codomain. Therefore, the sine function is 1, 1 and on 2, bisection. Since it is bisection, then we can define a function, g maps minus 1 to 1 to minus pi by 2, pi by 2 such that sine of g of x is equal to some identity and g of sine of x is also some identity. Then the function g is called inverse of sine, which is denoted by sine inverse. So, sine of g of x is equal to some identity function and g of sine x is also identity function. Then the function g is called inverse of sine, denoted by sine inverse. Now, this sine inverse is inverse of the given function sine, and the sine inverse x is also known as arc sine. Arc sine or sine inverse x, that is inverse of the sine function. Okay, now the definition to the inverse of a sine function. The function sine defined from minus pi by 2, pi by 2 to minus 1 to 1 is 1, 1 and on to therefore, the function sine inverse defined from minus 1 to 1 to minus pi by 2, pi by 2 is also on to such that sine of sine inverse x is equal to x for all x belongs minus 1 to 1 and sine inverse of sine x is equal to x for all x belongs minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Sine of sine inverse x is equal to x for every x belongs to the domain of sine inverse minus 1 to 1 and sine inverse of sine x is equal to x for every x belongs the domain of sine minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Then this function sine inverse from minus 1 1 to minus pi by 2 pi by 2 is called inverse of sine, defined from minus pi by 2 pi by 2 to minus 1 to 1. So now this is the exact definition to inverse of a sine function. This sine inverse is also known as arc sine. arc sine. Okay, right. Now this is the definition to a sine function. Now suppose we know that the domain of sin x is equal to r. Generally, the domain of sin x has the domain r and range is -1 to 1, you know. But this restricted domain minus pi by 2 is subset of R. Why can't we take only this particular interval minus pi by 2 Because the sign is 1 1 in that particular interval only. Suppose if we consider another interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, anything wrong? No. Yes, you can choose this function sine from minus pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 such that implies -1 to 1. Then it is also, in this case also, the sign is 1 1 and onto, hence sine inverse exists. Not only this one, suppose if we consider the sine function as -3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2, -3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2 to -1 to 1. Yes, right now also the sign is 1 1 and onto. Hence we can define inverse of these two inverse of this function also. So similarly, whenever the interval considered from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, or pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, or 3 pi by 2 5 pi by 2, or some negative intervals -3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2, -5 pi by 2 to -3 pi by 2, etc., etc. Then in those intervals also sign is 1 1 and onto. Hence inverse function defined. But particularly we can take one interval minus pi by 2 is known as, this particular interval minus pi by 2 is known as principal branch or principal domain of the given function sine. Here we have two graphs. One is the graph of sin x and second one is graph of sin inverse x. See the graph of sin x, it is already you know. The graph of sin x between 0 to 2 pi, it is a curve lying between -1 to 1, and between -2 pi to 0 also it lies between same -1 to 1. Further extending the interval, further extending the values, then again you get the graph be like this, lying between -1 to 1. And in left side also you get the same graph in that particular intervals. So finally the graph is bounded between the two values -1 and 1. So this is the graph of sin x. Next one, the graph of, because here sin x function has the range, has the domain R, range -1 to 1. So that the graph is defined like this. Now look here, sin inverse function. Already we know that sin inverse function is defined from -1 to 1 to minus pi by 2 pi by 2. The domain is restricted now. So that restricted domain, particularly minus pi by 2 is known as principal domain. Now in this interval -1 to 1, minus pi by 2, the graph is like this. X is equal to -1, the graph is minus pi by 2. At x is equal to +1, the graph is equals to pi by 2. Suppose the domain is restricted to minus pi by 2. Further, the domain considered as pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Now also this is inverse function defined from -1 to 1 to the same interval minus pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Now in that interval, so pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Look here. Now pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. At pi by 2 the value 1 and 3 pi by 2 the value is -1. So that here also the graph is 1 1 and onto bijection. Now suppose if we further extended 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, now again it is 1 1 and on 2, and the graph is continue like this. So that, and similarly if we take the negative intervals minus 3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2, or minus 5 pi by 2 to minus 3 pi by 2, then further continue the intervals, then finally the graph also lies between again the two values minus 1 to 1 only. So when x values are between minus 1 to 1, let it be 1, okay, right. Now a slight change is there, okay, no problem, right, like this, and here further extending like this. Now see there, so here the graph is lying between minus 1 to 1 again when x values, since the x values are x, sin inverse x has the domain minus 1 to 1, and the possible values of sin inverse x are lying between 0 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2 and so on, and 0 to minus pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2 and so on, like this. Now, so you see, this is the graph of sin x, that is the graph of sin inverse x. Okay. Now these are the graphs of the two functions, sine and inverse function, with the corresponding domains. Now let us define the inverse to next function cos. We have cos is defined from R2 minus 1 to 1. The cos x maps from set of real numbers to minus 1 to 1. So here the domain of cos x is R, range is minus 1 to 1. But in this domain the cos is not a 1 1 function. It is not 1 1 function. So to make it 1 1 function, so we can restrict the domain 0 to pi to minus 1 to 1. Suppose if the cos function, the cos x is defined from 0 pi to minus 1 to 1. Right now it is 1 1 as well as on 2, since range is equal to codomain here. Therefore, so cos is a bisection, hence the inverse of cos, known as cos inverse or arc cos, defined from minus 1 1 to 0 to pi, is the inverse of cos x. So this function is inverse of cos x, denoted by cos inverse x or arc cos x. Now here also, why can't we take only the domain 0 to pi? Of course, not only that 0 to 2 pi, we can select the interval from pi to 3 pi. No, pi to 2 pi. Pi to 2 pi. Yes, in that interval. So pi to 2 pi. Okay, right, in that interval. Yes, it is again 1 1 and on 2, or 2 pi to 3 pi. Similarly, minus pi to 0, etc. Minus 2 pi to minus 2 pi, etc. Now these are all possible intervals to make the cos x into 1 1 function. But among all these, particularly the interval 0 to pi is called, the interval 0 to pi is called principal domain. Principal domain or the principal branch of cos x. Okay. Right. Now let us see the graphs. Now here we have the graphs of cos x and cos inverse x. You know, the cos x graph is defined like this. The domain of cos x is R. So the graph can be drawn throughout the domain R like this. So as cos 0 is equal to 1, cos pi by 2 is equal to 0, cos pi minus 1, cos 3 pi by 2 is equal to 0, cos 2 pi is equal to 1, like that. And similarly in left side also. Again the cos x is lies between the two particular values minus 1 and 1 again. So that the range of this function is minus 1 to 1, because the entire graph lies between minus 1 to 1. Okay, now cos inverse x. Now for cos inverse x, the domain is minus 1 to 1. So that consider the intervals minus 1 to 1 on the x axis. Okay. Now the range on y axis, see, between minus 1 to 1, the cos inverse x is defined like this. Cos 0, cos inverse 0, 1. Cos inverse of pi by 2 is equal to 0. And cos inverse of 1 is equal to, cos inverse of 1 is equal to 0. And cos inverse of minus 1 is equal to pi. Cos inverse of 0 is equal to pi by 2, like that. And similarly cos inverse of 3 pi by 2 is equal to 0. Cos inverse of 0 is equal to 3 pi by 2. In the same way, cos inverse of 0 is equal to minus pi by 2. Cos inverse of minus 1 is equal to minus pi by 2, like that. Cos inverse of 0 again equal to minus 3 pi by 2. And cos inverse of 1 is equal to minus 2 pi, etc. Now while drawing the graph, now again the graph is defined like this. So now this is the graph of cos inverse x and it is the graph to cos x. Okay, now let us define the inverse of cosecant x. You know, cosecant x is equal to 1 by sin x, reciprocal of sin x. Therefore, this is not defined. 1 by sin x is not defined when x is equal to n pi. When x is equal to 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, general solution of x is equal to n pi. Now in such cases, this 1 by sin x does not exist, because sin x becomes 0 and the denominator becomes 0, then the function does not exist. So that there is no cosecant inverse x. There is no cosecant x. So cosecant x is equal to 1 by sin x, which is not defined at x is equal to n pi. Hence, the domain of cosecant x is equal to set of all real numbers except n pi, where n belongs to z, set of integers, set of all real numbers except at n pi. Now that is the domain. Now what is the range? Since sin x belongs to minus 1 to 1, sin x values are belonging to minus 1 to 1. Take the reciprocals. The reciprocal values of sin x, that means cosecant x, values does not belongs to that interval minus 1 comma 1. Therefore, cosecant in x belongs to minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. So since sin x lies between minus 1 to 1, while taking reciprocals, they do not in the same interval minus 1 to 1, so that definitely they belongs to the interval minus infinity to minus 1 closed union close 1 to infinity. Hence cosecant x has the domain R minus n pi such that n belongs to z to minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. Now in this domain and range, again it is not a this is not a 1-1 function. Of course it is a function, but not 1-1. Now to make it into 1-1 function, we have to restrict the domain again. That means cosecant x is equal to minus pi by 2 pi by 2 minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 excluding 0 to minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. Cosecant x defined from minus pi by 2 excluding 0. So, don't consider the 0. And we can take all other values between minus pi by 2 including minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. Such defined from this set to minus infinity minus 1 closed union 1 to infinity. Now, in this interval it is clearly 1 1. Clearly this function is 1 1 and onto. Therefore, the inverse of cosecant x denoted by cosecant inverse x, which is defined from minus infinity minus 1 union 1 to infinity to minus pi by 2 minus 0 excluding 0 is inverse function of cosecant x, or it is also known as arc cosecant x. Now, let us see the graphs. We have the graph of cosecant x. Already you know the graph of the cosecant x. So, the cosecant values does not lie between minus 1 to 1. So, that in between minus 1 to 1 there is no graph, and cosecant 0 is undefined value, cosecant pi by 2 is equal to 1, cosecant pi is undefined value again. So, that the graph is like this. So, 0 to pi, it is in first and second quadrants you may take. Then in that interval cosecant positive, so that the graph starts at plus infinity and it has the minimum value 1 and again going to plus infinity. Whereas in pi to 2 pi, the cosecant x, pi to 2 pi, the cosecant x is negative, so that it starts from minus infinity and it comes to maximum minus 1 and again it decreases going to minus infinity. So, similarly, if we take another interval 2 pi to 3 pi, again you will get the graph like that, just like as 0 to pi. Now, in left side, I mean in negative interval, minus pi to 0. So, minus pi to 0, cosecant values are negative, so that the graph of cosecant x starts at minus infinite position and it gets the maximum value at minus 1, maximum value minus 1 at x is equal to minus pi by 2, and again after that it decreases and going to minus infinity. So, this is the graph of cosecant x, already you studied in class 11. Now, let us see the graph of cosecant inverse x. You know, in cosecant inverse x, the domain is minus infinity minus 1 to 1 to infinity. So, that there is no graph between minus 1 to 1. We have to take the values from minus infinity to minus 1 and 1 to infinity. So, in that intervals, see, so minus 1 2, if we take the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, let us check the graph between minus pi by 2 first. So, at minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, look there, minus pi by 2 to 0 to pi by 2, 0 to pi by 2, the graph is cosecant pi by 2, cosecant inverse of 1 is equal to pi by 2 and cosecant inverse of 0 is undefined, and cosecant inverse of again 0 is equal to pi, so that it is going to infinity. So, that therefore, the graph is like this. Similarly, in the interval pi to 2 pi, pi to 2 pi. So, in between this, if we take the values from minus infinity to minus 1, so the cosecant inverse of infinity, minus infinity is equal to pi, because cosecant pi is tending to infinite position and it gets the maximum value minus 1 at x is equal to maximum value minus 1 at the value minus 3 pi by 2, and again it is going to minus infinity. Similarly, in the interval minus pi to 0 also we get the same type of curve. So that the graph of cos inverse x is like this, and this is the graph of cosecant. This is the graph of cosecant inverse x, and it is the graph of cosecant x. Now let us define the inverse of secant x and okay, first of all let us we know the domain of secant x. What is secant x? It is the reciprocal of cos x, 1 by cos x. So 1 by cos x. Is it defined to all values of x? No, it is not defined at x is equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2. General solution of cos x is equal to 0. When cos x is equal to 0, then this 1 by cos x does not exist, and that means secant x function does not exist. So that 1 by cos x is not defined at x is equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2 wherein belongs to z, set of integers. Therefore, the domain of secant x is equal to r minus 2n plus 1 pi by 2 such that n belongs to z, set of integers. Now, secant x, the domain of secant x is r minus of 2n plus 1 pi by 2. But what about the range? The range here, since cos x belongs to minus 1 to 1, then secant x does not belongs to minus 1 comma 1. That means secant x belongs to minus infinity to minus 1 closed union 1 to infinity. It is just like as cosecant x. So sin x also lies between minus 1 to 1, hence their reciprocal values does not belonging to the interval minus 1 to 1. Similarly, cos x also belongs to the same interval minus 1 to 1. Their reciprocal values does not belong to the same interval, hence cosecant x and secant x both are not in that interval minus 1 to 1. That's why both cosecant x and secant x have same range minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. Now in this domain secant x, it is clearly not a 1-1 function. So that to make it 1-1 function, we have to restrict the domain to 0 to pi. If secant x is restricted from 0 to pi excluding pi by 2 to minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. Now in that interval, yes, now the secant x is 1 1 and onto. This is 1 1 function as well as onto function. Therefore 1 1 onto. Hence the inverse of secant x or arc secant x is defined from minus infinity minus 1 union 1 to infinity to 0 to pi excluding pi by 2. Therefore here secant x is a bisection. Therefore inverse of secant x denoted by secant inverse x, which is defined from minus infinity minus 1 union 1 to infinity to 0 to pi. So minus pi by 2 excluding pi by 2. Now in that interval the secant inverse x is also bisection and it is the inverse of the given function. Now above we have the graphs of secant x and secant inverse x. So we know that secant x graph is like this. So similarly in the same way just like as cosecant x, secant x values are also not belonging to the interval minus 1 to 1. So that there is no graph between minus 1 to 1, and here at odd multiples of pi by 2, 2n plus 1 pi by 2 means odd multiples of pi by 2, secant x does not exist. So that consider the vertical lines at that odd multiples of pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, similarly minus pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2, etc. Now here in between minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, the secant x graph is like this, and between pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 it is like this. So as we take the values secant 0, 1, secant pi by 2 is tending to infinity, secant of minus pi by 2 also tending to infinity. Now secant pi value minus 1 and secant pi is equal to minus 1, as secant values are tending to pi by 2, it goes to minus infinity, and as x value tending to 3 pi by 2, again the secant x values are also tends to minus infinity. Similarly, as from 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, the graph is decreasing like that. Okay. Now this is the graph of secant x, you know. Now secant inverse x, the graph of the secant inverse x. So here the x values are minus 1 to 1. Here also there is no graph between minus 1 to 1. And see, suppose if secant pi is equal to minus 1, therefore pi is equal to secant inverse of minus 1. By the definition of the function, when f is a function defined from x to y, is a bisection, then for every y belongs to y, then there exists some x belongs to x such that f of x is equal to y implies and implied by x is equal to f inverse y. Now this is the definition of the inverse function. So according to that, secant pi is equal to minus 1, so pi is equal to secant inverse 1. Similarly, you can define all other values. You know, secant 0 is equal to 1, therefore 0 is equal to secant inverse 1. Secant inverse 1. So at 1, the secant inverse, with respect to secant inverse, the value is 0, and secant pi is equal to minus 1 means secant inverse of minus 1. At minus 1, the value, secant inverse value is pi. Now here secant 0 is equal to 1, 0 is equal to secant inverse 1. Similarly, we have secant pi is equal to minus 1, pi is equal to secant inverse of minus 1. So at x is equal to minus 1, the secant inverse value pi, as x values are tending to minus infinity, then the graph also tends to minus infinity, and here on right side, as x tends to plus infinity, then the graph is also tending to like this minus infinity, and x values are tending to pi by 2, the graph tends to plus infinity. So according to the definition of secant inverse x, we can draw this graph like this. Now the definition of tan inverse x. You know, tan x is equal to sin x by cos x. Now this is defined if cos x not equals to 0. Okay, this tan x function is equal to sin x by cos x. This ratio defines when cos x value not equals to 0. That implies x not equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2, where n belongs to z, set of integers. Therefore, the domain of tan x, is equal to, the domain of tan x is set of all real numbers except odd multiples of pi by 2, 2n plus 1 pi by 2, where n belongs to z. What is the range? The range is minus infinity to plus infinity. Therefore, here the tan x function defined from R 2n plus 1 pi by 2, n belongs to z, to set of real numbers is not a 1-1 function, because this is the total domain of the tan function. Therefore, on this domain, tan is not 1-1 function, since if any two elements are chosen from the domain x1, x2 such that tan x1 is equal to tan x2, then the x1, x2 need not be equal, so that it is not a 1-1 function. Now, to make it into 1-1 function, restrict the domain again. Now, the domain is to be considered as minus pi by 2, pi by 2, open, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, okay, to R, set of real numbers. Look here, tan of minus pi by 2 to r. Is it 1 function? Now let us know the graph of tan x first of all. So here the graph of tan x. The tan function at pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, similarly minus pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2, at those values tan does not exist because they are all odd multiples of pi by 2's. So as tan x is equal to x tends to pi by 2, tan pi by 2 tends to infinity, and tan 0 0, as x tends to minus pi by 2, tan value tending to minus infinity. Similarly, between pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, after pi by 2 tan is negative, so that the values are starts at minus infinite position, and at pi tan is 0, and when x value tending to 3 pi by 2, the tan values are tending to infinity. So that similarly after 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, the graph is like this. So before minus pi to minus pi by 2, the graph is like this. So this is the graph of tan x in the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. First of all, we have restricted the domain from minus pi by 2 pi by 2. You just confine the domain to minus pi by 2 pi by 2 only. Now look there, the graph is completely increasing. Say from minus pi by 2 to 0, it is increasing, 0 to pi by 2 also increasing, and no two values are having same images in this domain. So that this minus pi by 2 pi by 2 is called principal domain or principal branch of tan x. Now in this interval it is clearly 1 1, and it gives all real numbers during this interval minus pi by 2 pi by 2. So that range is equal to r. Hence finally we can conclude that tan maps minus pi by 2 to r is 1 1 function and onto. Therefore now we can define inverse of the function r2 minus pi by 2 known as inverse of tan, denoted by tan inverse. Therefore tan inverse is defined from r2 minus pi by 2 is also 1 1 and onto bisection. So now this is the inverse of tan x, and the inverse of tan x, the graph of inverse of tan x or arctan is given here. Now here the domain is equal to r, set of real numbers from minus infinity to plus infinity. So here the graph according to the tan inverse x function, the graph is tan inverse 0 0 and tan inverse infinity. As x tends to infinity, then the tan inverse values are tending to pi by 2. As x tends to minus infinity, then tan inverse values are tending to minus pi by 2. So that again the graph of tan inverse x between minus pi between r. Now here tan inverse 0 is equal to 0 and tan inverse infinity is equal to tending to pi by 2. Tan inverse of minus infinity tends to minus pi by 2. Similarly, in the interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 also the graph is like this. As tan x tending to infinity, tan inverse infinity tends to 3 pi by 2, and as x tends to minus infinity, tan inverse of minus infinity tends to pi by 2. So that the graph of tan inverse x during this interval r is again, so pi to 3 pi by 2. When we take the interval 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, again it is like that, and if we take the negative values, now it is like that, minus pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2 to minus pi by 2 in the same way as minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So that is the graph of tan inverse x. Now we have one more trigonometric function cot x. You know, cot x is equal to cos x by sin x. Now it is not defined at x is equal to n pi. Since at x is equal to n pi, sin is 0. When sin is 0, the denominator becomes 0. When denominator is 0, the function does not exist. Therefore, the cot x exists, or cot x is defined when x is not equal to n pi. Therefore, the domain of cortex. The domain of cortex is equal to set of all real numbers except n pi, where n belongs to z, set of integers. Now, what about the range? Of course, the range is always R. The range of cortex is R. So, while observing the graph of cortex, we can understand the range of cortex. See, in this graph, cot 0, at pi, at 2 pi, 3 pi and minus pi, minus 2 pi, at those values, integral multiples of pi's, at integral multiples of pi's, cot is not defined. So that cot 0 value is infinity, cot pi by 2 is equal to 0, cot pi by 2 is equal to 0, and again cot pi is equal to, it is not a defined number, so that during the interval 0 to pi by 2, the graph is above the x-axis, I mean it is positive, so that at 0 the cot values starts at infinite position, and as x is equal to pi by 2, it becomes 0. As x tends to pi, the cot extends to infinity. Similarly, from pi to 2 pi, what about the graph? So during this interval pi to 3 pi by 2, cot is positive, so that, and moreover cot pi is equal to infinity, so that the graph starts at positive direction of infinity, and at 3 pi by 2 it becomes 0, and after 3 pi by 2 it goes down and tends to minus infinity. So similarly, in the negative interval minus pi to 0, again in the same way, at minus pi the cos is at infinite position, and at pi by 2 it is 0, and after pi by 2 it going to infinity. As x tends to 0, the graph tends to infinity. So that this is the graph of cortex. Now while observing this cortex, all the cot values belongs to set of real numbers. So between minus pi to 0 or 0 to pi or pi to 2 pi, whatever the interval you choose, the values belongs to the interval minus infinity to plus infinity. So that is nothing but R. Hence the range of cortex is equal to R. Next, since cortex has the domain R minus n pi, where n belongs to z, to R is a function defined on this domain, but it is not one function. In fact, the function is defined, but it is not one on this interval. When the interval is restricted to 0 to pi, when the interval restricted to 0 to pi to R, now in this interval 0 to pi, the cortex values cot is completely decreasing, so that it is 1 as well as onto 1 and onto function. Since cot is 1 and onto bijection in this interval, therefore the inverse of cot, known as cot inverse or arc cot, defined from R to 0 to pi, is inverse of cortex. Now let us see the graph of cot inverse x. Here the domain of cot inverse x is R, so that we can take all real values minus infinity to plus infinity on x axis, but range is 0 to pi or pi to 2 pi or 0 to pi or pi to 2 pi or 2 pi to 3 pi, etc., etc. So that divide the interval from 0 to pi, pi to 2 pi, and in the same way negative direction minus pi to 0, like this. Now as at x is equal to 0, cot 0 is equal to, actually this value does not exist, cot 0 is tending to infinity, therefore cot inverse infinity is tends to 0. So as x tends to infinity, then cot inverse x value tending to 0. Cot pi by 2 is equal to 0, no? We know that cot pi by 2 0. Therefore, pi by 2 is equal to cot inverse 0. So, at x is equal to 0, so cot inverse 0 value is equal to pi by 2. As x tends to minus infinity, then cot inverse value tending to pi. So, in this interval 0 to pi, the cot inverse x is from minus infinity to, from minus infinity to plus infinity, the cot inverse values are defined from 0 to pi. Similarly, from minus infinity to plus infinity, we can take the same set of cot inverse values from pi to 2 pi, and the graph is similar to that of 0 to pi. Now, in the same way, in the interval minus pi to 0, the cot inverse x is also same as the graph like 0 to pi. So, whenever the interval you take, if we take further interval minus 2 pi to minus pi, then also the graph be like this, in case just like as the graph minus pi to pi and 0 to pi, 0 pi to 2 pi, etc., etc. So, now these are the inverse functions of the 6 trigonometric functions. You know, cos inverse, sin inverse x is inverse of sin, and cos inverse x is inverse of cos, tan inverse, cot inverse, secant inverse, cosecant inverse. Now, these are the 6 inverse trigonometric functions to the trigonometric functions sin, cos, tan, cot, secant and cosecant. So, finally, we can conclude the domains and ranges of various inverse trigonometry functions as given in table. So, for sin inverse x, the domain is minus 1 to 1 and range is minus pi by 2 pi by 2. Cos inverse x, for the cos inverse x function, the domain is given by minus 1 to 1 just like as sin inverse x, but whereas range is 0 to pi. Tan inverse x, the domain is R, range is open bracket minus pi by 2 pi by 2. Now, cot inverse x also has the same domain R, range is open bracket 0 to pi. Secant inverse x, cosecant inverse x, both are having same domain, that is R minus open bracket minus 1 to 1, and range of secant inverse x is 0 to pi excluding pi by 2, whereas cosecant inverse x has the range minus pi by 2 closed except at 0. Now, you remember this table for further properties of these 6 inverse trigonometric functions. Now, here 2 problems on the definition of the inverse of trigonometric functions. See, the first one is find the principal values of the following: cos inverse root 3 by 2, tan inverse of minus root 3 and cosecant inverse of 2. Now, let us take the first one. Cos inverse of root 3 by 2. You know, cos inverse of root 3 by 2. Now, we want to find the principal value of cos inverse of root 3 by 2. Let it be some y. Therefore, by the definition of inverse function, root 3 by 2 is equal to cos y. That implies cos y is equal to root 3 by 2. You know, root 3 by 2 is equals to cos pi by 6. Therefore, y is equal to pi by 6. But what is y? Y is cos inverse of root 3 by 2. Hence, the principal value of the given function is pi by 6. Next, second one. So, take another bit, tan inverse minus root 3. Tan inverse minus root 3. Now, to find the principal value of this tan inverse minus root 3, let it be some y. So consider tan inverse of minus root 3 is equal to some y. Then minus root 3 is equal to tan y. Therefore, tan y is equal to minus root 3. Tan y is equal to minus root 3, or while multiplying by minus on both sides, minus tan y is equal to tan root 3. Now I can change this minus tan y as tan of minus y is equal to root 3. You know, this root 3 value is equals to tan pi by 3. Tan pi by 3 is equal to root 3. Therefore, minus y is equal to pi by 3, or y is equal to minus pi by 3. But what is y? Y is equals to tan inverse of minus root 3. That is equal to minus pi by 3. Next, third one. First question, third bit. Cosecant inverse of 2. Cosecant inverse of 2. Now this is equals to some y. Consider cosecant inverse 2 is equal to some y. Now this implies that 2 is equal to cosecant y. While taking the reciprocals, 1 by 2 is equal to sin y. Therefore, sin y is equal to 1 by 2, but 1 by 2 is equal to sin pi by 6. Hence, y is equal to pi by 6. But what is y? Y is equals to cosecant inverse 2. Therefore, cosecant inverse 2 is equals to pi by 6. Next, second question. Find the values of the following. So here the first one is tan inverse of 1 plus cos inverse of minus 1 by 2 plus sin inverse of minus 1 by 2. You know, tan inverse of 1 is equal to tan inverse of, we can make it 1 as tan pi by 4. Now since pi by 4 is in its principal domain, so tan inverse of tan pi by 4 is become equals to pi by 4, and cos inverse of minus 1 by 2. Now here I can take minus 1 by 2 as cos of 2 pi by 3. You know, cos 2 pi by 3 is equals to minus 1 by 2 plus, and sin inverse of minus 1 by 2 can be taken as sin of minus pi by 6. Sin of minus pi by 6 is equals to minus sin pi by 6, which is equals to minus 1 by 2. Now see, all are in their principal domains. So tan inverse of tan theta is equal to theta when theta belongs to the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So that here pi by 4 is in its principal domain, hence that much value is equals to pi by 4. Cos inverse of cos theta is also theta when theta belongs to in its principal domain 0 to 2 pi. Yes, of course, 2 pi by 3 belongs to that interval. So that cos inverse of cos 2 pi by 3 is equals to 2 pi by 3. Sin inverse of sin theta is equal to theta when theta belongs to the principal domain minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Of course, minus pi by 6 is also belongs to the same interval minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Hence, that much value is equals to minus pi by 6. So what? It is pi by 4 plus 2 pi by 3 minus pi by 6. Now, while taking LCM, so clearly we know that 12 is LCM of these fractions. Now 4 multiply with 3 pi, and 3 divide 12 4 times, so that it is 8 pi, and 6 divides 12 2 times 2 pi. So hence it is 3 pi plus 8 by 11, 11 minus 2, 9, 9 pi by 12, or it is also equals to 3 pi by 4. Now there is one more problem here, that is find the value of tan inverse root 3 minus secant inverse minus 2. Tan inverse of root 3 is equals to tan pi by 3 minus secant inverse of minus 2 is equal to secant 2 pi by 3. Na? Why? Because let us take cos 2 pi by 3 value. You know cos 2 pi by 3 is equal to minus 1 by 2. While taking the reciprocal, secant 2 pi by 3 is equal to minus 2. So minus 2 is equal to, minus 2 can be replaced by secant of 2 pi by 3. Right now, tan inverse of tan theta is equal to theta pi by 3, because pi by 3 belongs to in its principal domain, minus secant inverse of secant theta is equal to theta when again theta belongs to its principal domain 0 to pi. So here 2 pi by 3 is also belongs to in its principal domain 0 to 2 pi, 0 to pi. Therefore, secant inverse of secant theta is equal to theta. Of course, it is equals to 2 pi by 3. Now this is pi by 3 minus 2 pi by 3 is equal to minus pi by 3. Therefore, the value of this one is equals to minus pi by 3. Now let us we know the properties of inverse trigonometric functions. There are some different kind of properties in this chapter. So what are they? Now here I have written two properties. The first one is sin inverse 1 by x is equal to cosecant inverse x when x greater than or equal to 1 or x less than or equal to minus 1. Cos inverse 1 by x is equal to secant inverse x when x greater than or equal to 1 or x less than or equal to minus 1. Tan inverse of 1 by x is equals to cot inverse x when x greater than 0. Now, first of all, let us we prove this first property. Here, the first one is sin inverse of 1 by x is equal to cosecant inverse x. Now, let us take sin inverse of 1 by x is equal to some y. Let us consider the sin inverse of 1 by x is equal to some y. Now, this implies 1 by x is equal to sin y. 1 by x is equal to sin y. While taking reciprocal, x is equal to cosecant y. Therefore, cosecant y is equals to x. Hence, y is equal to cosecant inverse of x. Y is equal to cosecant inverse of x. Since here, see, when x value between x is greater than or equal to 1 or less than or equal to minus 1, then 1 by x belongs to minus 1 to 1. When x value between not in the interval minus 1 to 1, then 1 by x always lies in that interval minus 1 to 1, so that sin inverse property exists. So according to the inverse function definition, so sin inverse of 1 by x is equal to y means 1 by x is equal to sin y. Therefore, x is equal to cosecant y, and cosecant y is equal to x means y is equal to cosecant inverse x. For every x greater than or equal to 1 or less than or equal to minus 1. Now, what is y here? Y is equal to sin inverse of 1 by x. Therefore, sin inverse of 1 by x is equal to cosecant inverse of x for every x greater than or equal to 1 or less than or equal to minus 1. In the same way, we can prove cos inverse 1 by x is equal to secant inverse x by taking cos inverse of 1 by x is equal to some y. Then 1 by x is equal to cos y. While taking reciprocals, x is equal to secant y is equal to x. Therefore, y is equal to secant inverse x. So finally, cos inverse 1 by x is equal to secant inverse x for every x greater than or equal to 1 or x less than or equal to 1. In the same way, the third statement, tan inverse of 1 by x is equal to cot inverse x when x greater than 0 can be proved in the same way. So consider tan inverse 1 by x is equal to some y, 1 by x is equal to tan y, x is equal to, while taking reciprocal, cot y is equal to x, y is equal to cot inverse x, therefore, but y is nothing but tan inverse of 1 by x is equal to cot inverse x. So, the three statements can be proved in the similar way. Now, this is the first property of inverse trigonometry. Next one, there is another property here, second one. See, sin inverse of minus x is equal to minus sin inverse x for every x belongs minus 1 to 1. And tan inverse of minus x is equal to minus tan inverse x for every x belongs to R. Cosecant inverse of minus x is equal to minus cosecant inverse x for every mod x greater than or equal to 1. Mod x greater than or equal to 1 means it implies x less than or equal to minus 1 or x greater than or equal to 1. Okay, right. Now, let us prove the first one. Let us take sin inverse of minus x is equal to some y. Let us consider LHS, sin inverse of minus x is equal to some y. Now, by the definition of inverse function, minus x is equal to sin y implies multiplying by minus on both sides, x is equal to minus sin y. That implies, now minus sin y is nothing but sin of minus y. We know in trigonometry sin of minus theta is equal to minus sin theta. So, by that property we can make it into sin of minus y. Now, x is equal to sin of minus y implies sin inverse x is equal to minus y. Therefore, minus y is equal to sin inverse x, minus y is equal to sin inverse x, multiplying by minus on both sides, y is equal to minus sin inverse x. But what is y? We have considered sin inverse of minus x is equal to y. So that replace y by sin inverse of minus x. Sin inverse of minus x is equal to minus sin inverse x. You know, the first statement sin inverse of minus x is equal to minus sin inverse x. Similarly, we can prove two statements also. Assuming tan inverse of minus x is equal to some y and cosecant inverse of minus x is equal to some y, and just like as this statement, just like as this proof, we can derive the other two proofs also. Next, we have two more properties on the board. Third one is cos inverse of minus x is equal to pi minus cos inverse x when x belongs minus 1 to 1. Secant inverse of minus x is equals to pi minus secant inverse x when mod x greater than or equal to 1. It is nothing but x is either less than or equal to minus 1 or greater than or equal to 1. Cot inverse of minus x is equals to pi minus cot inverse x for all x belongs to R. Proof. The first one. Cos inverse of minus x is equal to some y. Consider cos inverse of minus x is equal to some y. So, therefore, it is equals to minus x is equals to cos y. Now, multiplying by minus on both sides, x is equal to minus cos y. You know, minus cos y is equals to cos of pi minus y. Cos 180 minus theta or cos pi minus theta is equal to minus cos theta. In the same way, minus cos y is equal to cos pi minus y, and pi minus y is completely in the interval 0 to pi. That means it is in its principal domain. Hence, we can write it as cos inverse of x is equal to pi minus y. Therefore, y is equal to pi minus cos inverse x. But what is y? y is equal to cos inverse of minus x. So finally cos inverse of minus x is equal to pi minus cos inverse x for every x belongs minus 1 to 1. Similarly, secant inverse of minus x is pi minus secant inverse x. Cot inverse of minus x is pi minus cot inverse x, can be proved like this. So you see, why sin inverse of minus x is equals to minus sin inverse x and cos inverse of minus x is equals to pi minus cos inverse x. What is the difference between these two? You know, sin inverse of minus x is equal to minus sin inverse x because here the principal domain of x is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. But whereas cos inverse of minus x is equal to pi minus cos inverse x when the principal domain of cos is 0 to pi. So that is the difference between them. So not only for this one, in case of tan inverse of minus x is equal to minus tan inverse x, cosecant inverse of minus x is equal to minus cosecant inverse x. In the three cases, the principal domains are defined from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. But whereas in this property, cos inverse, secant inverse and cot inverse are equals to pi minus something. Since cos inverse, secant inverse and cot inverse are having the principal values from 0 to pi, so that we get the properties like pi minus cos inverse x, pi minus secant inverse, pi minus cot inverse x form. Next, second one. See, if the fourth one is sin inverse x plus cos inverse x is equal to pi by 2 for every x belongs minus 1 to 1. Tan inverse x plus cot inverse x is equal to pi by 2 for every x belongs to R. Cosecant inverse x is plus secant inverse x is equals to pi by 2 mod x greater than or equal to 1. Now, let us prove first one. Sin inverse x. Now, let us take sin inverse x is equal to some y. Let us consider sin inverse x is equal to some y. Therefore, x is equal to sin y. But you know, sin y is equals to cos of pi by 2 minus y. Sin theta is equal to cos pi by 2 minus theta. So that sin y is equal to cos pi by 2 minus y, and this leads that cos inverse x is equals to pi by 2 minus y. Therefore, now move this minus y to left side, y is equal to pi by 2 minus cos inverse x, or y is equal to what? Sin inverse x, substitute there, sin inverse x is equal to pi by 2 minus cos inverse x, and moving this minus cos inverse x to left side. So finally we get sin inverse x plus cos inverse x is equals to pi by 2 for every x belongs minus 1 to 1. Now sin inverse x plus cos inverse x is equal to pi by 2. Similarly, we can prove the other two cases. Tan inverse x plus cot inverse x is equal to pi by 2. Cosecant inverse x plus secant inverse x is equal to pi by 2. So for this case, consider tan inverse x is equal to y, x is equal to tan y, but tan y is equal to cot of pi by 2 minus y, like that. And cot inverse y is equal to pi by 2 minus y, where y is equal to tan inverse x, and substitute and get that second property. And similarly, consider cosecant inverse x is equal to some y, x is equal to cosecant y, but cosecant y is equals to secant pi by 2 minus y. Again, secant inverse x is equal to pi by 2 minus y, but where y is equal to cosecant inverse x. And from that result, at last we can get this property cosecant inverse x plus secant inverse x is equal to pi by 2 for every mod x greater than or equal to 1. Now we have the fifth property, that is tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse of x plus y by 1 minus xy when xy less than 1. tan inverse x minus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse of x minus y by 1 plus xy when xy greater than minus 1. 2 tan inverse x is equals to tan inverse of 2x by 1 minus x square when mod x less than or equal to 1. Now let us prove the first one. To prove tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse of x plus y by 1 minus xy. Now let us take tan inverse x is equal to some theta and tan inverse y is equal to some phi. Consider tan inverse x is equal to theta, tan inverse y is equal to phi. Now from this x is equal to tan theta and y is equal to tan phi. Now let us take tan of theta plus phi. You know it is tan a plus b form, compound angles. What is the formula of tan a plus b? Tan a plus tan b by 1 minus tan a tan b. Like that, tan of theta plus phi is equal to tan theta plus tan phi by 1 minus tan theta tan phi. Now this is tan theta is equal to x plus tan phi is y by 1 minus xy. So this part tan of theta plus phi is equals to x plus y by 1 minus xy. Tan of theta plus phi is equals to x plus y by 1 minus xy. From this, theta plus phi is equals to tan inverse of x plus y by 1 minus xy. But what is theta? Theta is tan inverse x. We have assumed tan inverse x is equal to theta. So replace theta by tan inverse x. Similarly, replace phi by tan inverse y. Therefore, tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse of x plus y by 1 minus xy. Hence, that is the tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse of x plus y by 1 minus xy is proved for xy less than 1. For second property, we can get the second property from the previous first one, replacing y by minus y in the above property. So what? Tan inverse x plus tan inverse of minus y is equal to tan inverse of x minus y by 1 minus x into minus y. You know this is tan inverse x. Tan inverse of minus y is equals to minus tan inverse y. It was already proved. Is equal to tan inverse of x minus y by 1 minus into minus plus xy. So, therefore, tan inverse x minus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse of x minus y by 1 plus xy. Second property is also proved. We just replacing y by minus y in the first property. Next, third one. How do we get this third property? You see, tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse of x plus y by 1 minus xy. It was already proved. Na? So, in this property, replace y by x. Replace y by x in the first property. Then what? It is tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is also equals to x is equal to tan inverse of x plus x by 1 minus x into x square. Therefore, tan inverse x plus tan inverse x is 2 tan inverse x is equal to tan inverse of 2x by 1 minus x square. Hence, the third property is also prove. Now the next property, 2 tan inverse x is equal to sin inverse of 2x by 1 plus x square when mod x less than or equal to 1. 2 tan inverse x is equal to cos inverse 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square when x greater than or equal to 0. 2 tan inverse x is equal to tan inverse of 2x by 1 minus x square minus 1 less than x less than 1. Of course, so we have proved this one earlier. Now let us prove the first two. First one, 2 tan inverse x is equal to sin inverse of 2x by 1 plus x square. To prove that, let us take tan inverse x is equal to y, implies x is equal to tan y. Now consider sin inverse of 2x by 1 plus x square. Consider this function, sin inverse of 2x by 1 plus x square. Now this is sin inverse of 2 into, where x is what? Tan y by 1 plus tan square y. Now remember, 2 tan y by 1 plus tan square y, 2 tan theta by 1 plus tan square theta is sin 2 theta. So that 2 tan y by 1 plus tan square y is equals to sin 2y. Now this is equals to 2y. Therefore, 2y is equal to sin inverse of 2x by 1 plus x square. This implies 2 into, but what is y? Y is equal to tan inverse x. 2 tan inverse x is equal to sin inverse of 2x by 1 plus x square for every mod x less than or equal to 1. For second statement, for this 2 tan inverse x is equal to cos inverse of 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square. Again consider tan inverse x is equal to y. Take tan inverse x is equal to y. This implies x is equal to tan y. Now consider cos inverse of 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square. Substitute x is equal to tan y. Then it is cos inverse of 1 minus tan square y by 1 plus tan square y. You know this cos 2y formula. 1 minus tan square theta by 1 plus tan square theta is equal to cos 2 theta. Similarly, 1 minus tan square y by 1 plus tan square y is cos 2y. Now cos inverse of cos 2y is equal to 2y. Therefore, 2y is equal to cos inverse of 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square implies, but 2 into, you know, y is equal to what? It is tan inverse x. 2 tan inverse x is equal to cos inverse of 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square for every x greater than or equal to 0. Now here is an example problem. Show that sin inverse 2x into root of 1 minus x square is 2 sin inverse x minus 1 by root 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1 by root 2. Sin inverse 2x into root 1 minus x square is equal to 2 cos inverse x when 1 by root 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1. Now the first one, sin inverse 2x into root of 1 minus x square is equal to 2 sin inverse x. To prove that, let us take x is equal to some sin theta. Consider x is equal to some sin theta. Then what? Now x is equal to sin theta means consider sin inverse of 2x into root of 1 minus x square is equals to sin inverse of 2 into, put x is equal to sin theta into, root of 1 minus sin square theta. Root of 1 minus sin square theta is equal to cos square theta. Root cos square theta is equal to cos theta under this domain. So that root of 1 minus cos square theta is equal to cos theta. Therefore, this is sin inverse of 2 sin theta cos theta is equal to sin 2 theta. Now, sin inverse of sin 2 theta is equal to 2 theta. That is 2 into, what is theta? Theta is equal to sin inverse x. Since x is equal to sin theta, from this theta is equal to sin inverse x. Therefore, theta is equal to sin inverse x. So, finally, sin inverse of 2x into root of 1 minus x square is equal to 2 sin inverse x for all x belongs minus 1 by root 2 to plus 1 by root 2. For second statement, consider x is equal to cos theta. Then theta is equal to cos inverse x. Now, here also we consider sin inverse of 2x into root 1 minus x square is equal to sin inverse of, put x is equal to cos theta here, 2 cos theta into root of 1 minus cos square theta, nothing but sin theta. 2 cos theta sin theta, nothing but 2 sin theta cos theta, which is equals to sin 2 theta. Now, sin inverse of sin 2 theta is equal to 2 theta, 2 into where theta is equal to cos inverse x. So, finally, sin inverse of 2x into root 1 minus x square is equal to 2 cos inverse x for x belongs minus 1 by root 2 to 1, and sin inverse of 2x into root 1 minus x square equals to 2 sin inverse x when x belongs minus 1 by root 2 to plus 1 by root 2.